resume your time.
Originally the field, we went to the township and asked if we can use to make a football field. And they agreed. So I done the engineering on it, the layout, the surveying, and stamped by a certified engineer. And they okayed it. And I donated all the excavation and installation of the whole field. And the goalposts, and the scoreboard. And I got funding from our local senator for the lighting, which didn't cost Homer Township a penny. I helped with the construction on the announcer booth. I was a union contractor. And it didn't cost this township a damn penny for that field. It's me, a lot of my time, equipment, and a lot of volunteers. When they put the sod down that field, I would estimate, without exaggerating, there was 200 kids and parents there. They couldn't bring the sod fast enough. All volunteers. There's something for probably stat-wise, I'm guessing between 2,000 and 4,000 cheerleaders and football players came through that program. And you can't do anything to help it. And you got, I mean, I didn't look at the bid, the numbers, but $240,000 is total absurd. I don't know, if you want to pay that kind of money, I'll come and do whatever you want at your house.
Well,
I have new state-of-the-art color windows put in my house. The most expensive in the world, custom made to the sizes. It only cost me $20,000 per. Not as many as windows, but bigger patio doors and everything. And there's 18 windows in that building. And it's a masonry building. What could be possibly wrong? I have no clue, other than you hired somebody to invent something.
well, I disagree with you, but there's 20 windows and there's nothing.
18 windows. I just went and counted them.
Okay, well,
I mean, I can
that's
count,
what,
unless you want to
that's what,
count the windows on the side of the door.
I'm just telling you what the proposal says, but
Yeah,
also
well,
there's nothing wrong
you
with,
get
there's
bid.
nothing
You
wrong
hire
with the
somebody.
football field.
It's like getting an appraisal on property. You can get a high appraisal and you get a low appraisal. That's depending on who you want to hire and who you're presenting it to. If you're
Okay.
getting property condemned, which I had condemned, Forest Reserve got the low appraisal. I got the high appraisal. And they were miles and miles apart. It's the same thing as whoever you invented to get your quote on the structural thing. You can do whatever.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the football field, so, and I appreciate your donation on behalf of Homer Township and your family I've known for a very long time and are very reputable people, so I want to say that. And again, I am not engineering anything. The board has instructed me every step of the way, or my office, to get a structural engineer, to go out through the job order contracting. We are required to get permits, we are required to pay prevailing wage. I don't know if this price is good or bad or whatever, I'm not speaking to that. I'm simply saying that we contacted professionals, we contacted structural engineers and the village building department, and these are the results of the reports. Let's go on to the next person. That would be Larry Kilmer.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, no, wait. Yeah, I did skip you, Larry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I went ahead and got Mr. Ketler.
I don't
I'm sorry.
mind. Anyhow, 3 years ago, the Stallions approached the village, the township, gotta correct that, the township to replace the windows at our cost, and we were denied. We were told no. You know, we were gonna pay for the windows, okay? Structural engineering came over, we're told you spent over $80,000 to have that.
No,
$8,700.
$8,000.
$8,000? Okay, thank you for the correction, $8,000. For 6 hours, they sprayed the building with rust water. They defaced the front of that building. There's a big, huge rust mark on the front of that building. I'd like to know who's going to clean that rust mark up. I think you guys should. You did it, you should fix it.
It will.
Rumor has that we're, going off my notes, that the building was built by volunteers. Roy Kettler just took care of that. I was told from past that all repair work over a certain amount has to go out to the general public for bids. Are you sending this repair work out for bids?
Okay, so, as far as time frame and what the Stallions offered, I would like to just correct that the minutes from the Park and Rec Committee, the Stallions offered to pay 25% of $12,000. They did not offer to pay for the full amount. But regardless, that was a proposal that the Stallions went out, or Dan, I'm not sure who, went out and got, and it was for a standard window replacement. Again, the township by state law is required to pay prevailing wage. Contractor has to meet certain circumstances. And yes, any project, any public works project over $20,000 is required to go out to bid unless, and this particular organization is a job order contracting. Job order contracting they're nationwide, and what they do is they go out and they pre-bid construction services. We are in a agreement with Naperville, the city of Naperville. They have engineered this job order contracting a program, an agreement, and that is, Passion is the company that was awarded the lowest bid out of all the nationwide contractors that bid on the job order contracting. Again, there are other organizations, there's all different types of job order contracting, but generally it's considered pre-bid construction services. We can choose to accept that, or the board can, and you will hear, if you're still here, later in the supervisor's report, or the board has other options, whatever the board desires. Nothing has been approved at this point. Does that answer your question, Kurt?
Yeah.
Thank you. Monica Kirk.
Former board member of the Stallions. Just want to say, I can tell you from when I was on the board, that tower is very important. When people pull in, it's the first thing they see, like you said. We would get compliments. You know, your people, if they're talking, they know what they're talking about. The kids love hearing their names. Having a wait team come in and say that, that's huge. So this is something we really need to take care of for the kids. We shouldn't just let it get dilapidated and fall apart, and it shouldn't take this long, in my opinion. That's all I got.
Well, and I just want to say that I really wish that, an opportunity, again, I know you all have been contacted, strictly by one side of the story, and actually I have not heard from any of you that I'm aware of wanting to hear the township side of the story. But I would ask you to review town board minutes and agendas. They're on our website, and see, thank you, Dan, I would appreciate you being in order. Because you're making comments, and you don't want them to hear the other side of the story. Okay, so, I'm just gonna say, but I don't want you yelling out or making remarks and noises while I'm trying to answer. Thank you. Again, there's nothing here that anybody is trying not to do anything or to take care of anything. There have been, we've known on and off throughout maybe even since construction, that there's been peeling on the paints on the inside of the walls of the building. And I know that I've even had discussions with previous Stallions presidents about this. There was a thought that was due to not putting a proper primer on first. We were hearing all kinds of things. And over the years, we were trying to fix things with Band-Aids, which is, I think, why the board directed us to hire a structural engineer for our insurer's suggestion as well, to try and get to the source. We replaced the whole roof. We do think that the tower is very important to the organization. I don't believe that there's been any maintenance neglect. It's probably more of a construction neglect, or maybe inappropriate, and might have been happening between the walls for a lot longer than we know now that there's more of a comprehensive problem. All right, let's go on. I'm sorry, Janet
Zan.
Zan?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to say that I hope you can
come to a decision on what you're going to do soon. This has dragged on far too long. I've had children in the program, I've had grandchildren in the program, I've volunteered. This is very important to the kids and their families. They form bonding friendships through this, and it's something positive that we can do in the community to keep the community together. And I don't think it really should have taken this long.
Okay, thank you for your input. And for the record, my daughter was in Stallions. My son was too large, but my children have been in HAC and in all of the wonderful programs, and I agree with all of you that they're very valuable to the youth of our community. Nick Calzaretta?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm one of the Homer Stallions head football coaches. First, I'd just like to ask everybody to keep the players and the kids in mind. I feel like this is sort of it's sort of, people are forgetting what it's really about, in my opinion. Then I'd like to ask you if you could give me an idea of your timeline. I know you mentioned that the board reserves the right to get other bids if they choose, is that correct?
Well, it is totally in the board's hand. I have done everything that the board has asked, and the timeline has been on the structural engineering, which they did start testing in the fall. And it is true, I forget, Larry, so it is true. When they did the testing, so if you look at the building inside and out, and I know you have, Larry, you will see that there are rust stains because there is rust in between the walls. And when they were doing the testing, it did exacerbate the problem. Now, it is due to get fixed. And actually, the reason we haven't done that first, the rust stains, and I know that's not what you asked, but I just happened to think about it, is because the building, hopefully when it gets restored, if we just go and clean that one area, that building is going to be a different color than the rest of the building. So at this point, the plan is to wait until all the repairs are made and to have the whole building taken care of properly. And the proposal is to do something that wasn't done to the best of my knowledge, and that is to have the masonry sealed and stuff once the repairs are made. But again, tonight the board will give direction as to, and we have not discussed it, so I don't know the answers, but whatever the board wants to do moving forward, we will know tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Alfred Peretta?
Hey everyone. So I'm one of the assistant coaches with the Homer Stallions here, and just basically echoing everything that's been said, and again, just looking for a firm time frame of when the decisions are going to be made as to what the next steps are for that building. And basically, just as you already know, the importance of that building for us, for the community, for the kids, and that's it.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. Laura Moss?
Hi, good evening. I'm the director of the cheerleading program at Homer Stallions. I was part of the program myself, born and raised here in Homer Township. I chose to bring my family here and raise my kids here, not only for the schools, but for the Homer Stallions program. I'm just asking for your support as quickly as you can. We have the highest numbers in years in our younger grades right now, and we'd love to welcome them to our season in July with everything ready to go with your support. So thank you.
Thank you. And then Jennifer Consolino.
Okay, I have two questions. Since I know that we look for any excuse to avoid annual town meetings, if this coronavirus becomes an issue, do you have a contingency plan in play?
And this is related to the annual town meeting?
Yeah. Because if people aren't allowed to meet or group together, what
Okay,
is
so your question
contingency
is...
plan? It's a legitimate question.
I'm trying to understand your question. I'm just trying to understand your question. So your question is, if because of the coronavirus, we cannot have an annual town meeting, is there a contingent? Okay, thank you. Now I understand. Well, actually, there can be contingency plans. There's nothing that says that it can only happen that way, and I believe you know, because we've had a special meeting of the electors, that other meetings can be called.
Okay, and then my other question is, how old exactly is this building?
Well, I just read to you the minutes, so I believe it was completed in, it says the football announcers is complete.
No, this building that we're sitting in.
Oh, this one, I have no idea, this is from the late 1800s, if not, I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, the township has been since 1836, but the building wasn't built in 1836.
Did you do a structural engineering report before you did the windows last year?
In the town hall, no, we did not, because there was no leaks or any issues underlying besides just replacing the windows. And to be honest with you, we actually tried to just do the same exact thing for the football tower with the same contractor, and they refused because they said that the new windows would be, would fail within a couple of
What
years
about-
because of the
What about the flooring
issues.
in here?
What about the flooring in here?
Saying there was nothing wrong with the flooring whatsoever?
We didn't replace the flooring in here.
Hasn't been replaced, huh? Okay. But did not need a structural engineering report. Okay.
Well, if we didn't do anything to it, I would say it doesn't need a structural engineering report.
Oh, sorry, new flooring in the new township hall.
Well, we normally don't call in a structural engineer to replace tile on the floor.
Okay. As long as you're on the record saying that, okay.
Okay, well, I am. So, that being said,